Yes, we are still talking about squirrel diets today. But buckle up because you're about to get a whole new appreciation for these backyard acrobats.
They might seem simple, but their eating habits are surprisingly complex.
Really fascinating stuff. So we're going on a mission today.
A mission.
Yeah, we're going to uncover how squirrels adapt their diets throughout the year, surviving and thriving in ever-changing environments. Get ready for some aha moments.
I think we're going to have a lot of them.
All right, so let's lay the groundwork here. Squirrels aren't picky eaters, right? They're not just snacking on acorns all day.
You got it. They're what we call omnivores.
So that means.
Think of them as master adapters in the culinary world. Their secret weapon, their omnivorous nature.
Okay, so it's not just about nuts and seeds, right? What else are these guys munching on?
You're absolutely right. While they do love their nuts and seeds.
I mean, who doesn't?
Exactly. They've also got a taste for flowers, buds, fruits, fungi, insects, eggs, and even small vertebrates.
Small vertebrates.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's a bit surprising.
Yeah.
I guess you never know what you might find stashed away in a squirrel's pantry.
That's the beauty of their flexible diet. This adaptability is key to their survival.
Makes sense being able to eat whatever's available.
Exactly, allowing them to take advantage of whatever food is available whenever it's available.
All right, so let's imagine we're following a squirrel through a year. Sort of like a year in the life of a squirrel's stomach. Starting with spring, what's on the menu?
Spring is all about high-energy fuel. They're coming out of winter ready to breed and raise their young. So their diet shifts to things like maple buds, berries, insects, and even bird eggs.
Bird eggs. So those cute furry faces can be a bit deceiving. What about the different types of squirrels? Do they all follow the same spring diet?
Interestingly, you'll see variations between species.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for example, red squirrels prefer conifer buds and bark early on, while gray squirrels are all about deciduous seeds and fruit.
So they each have their own preferences.
Exactly. It shows how they've each adapted to the specific resources in their habitats.
So spring is about fueling up for the next generation. What happens when we hit summer? Is it all just fun and feasting?
Summer is indeed the season of abundance. It's a buffet of fruits and veggies, apples, berries, grapes, even broccoli and carrots.
Broccoli and carrots.
Yeah, they love them.
So maybe they're onto something with that diverse diet. But I have a feeling this summer feast isn't just about indulging right.
You're catching on. They're not just enjoying the bounty, they're also prepping for the future, building up those crucial fat reserves for the lean months ahead.
Makes sense.
And let's not forget fungi, especially for red squirrels. It's a key source of essential nutrients.
Ah, so they're already thinking about winter while they're soaking up the summer suns. Smart. Okay, so as summer fades and we head into autumn, what changes?
Autumn is when the real prepping spree kicks into high gear.
Oh yeah, the time to gather and store.
It's all about gathering and hoarding those calorie-rich nuts and seeds, acorns, hickory nuts, walnuts, beech nuts. Imagine them stuffing their cheeks and burying caches everywhere.
It's like they're stocking up for a long winter's nap. What about the red squirrels? Are they still into fungi in the fall?
Absolutely. They continue to rely heavily on fungi well into autumn, especially species found in coniferous forests. It seems to be a vital part of their winter preparation.
Okay, so we've got our squirrels all fueled up and ready for winter. But what happens when the snow starts falling and food becomes scarce? How do they survive?
Winter is the ultimate test. It's when they rely on their resourcefulness and those carefully stashed food reserves. Their incredible sense of smell helps them sniff out those nuts and seeds even under a blanket of snow.
Wow, that's amazing. But what happens if they run out of their stash? What are their backup options?
Well, when times get tough, they might resort to less appealing options like tree bark buds, anything they can find. Survival mode kicks in.
So it really is a test of their survival skills.
Exactly. It sounds like those winter months really separate the resourceful from the, well, less fortunate. Are there differences in how different squirrel species handle this?
Oh, that's a great question. I'd love to know more about that.
Absolutely. Red squirrels, for example, have a fascinating strategy. They actively hunt for a specific energy-rich fungus called Wilhelmina that grows under dead oak bark.
So they've got their own special winter fuel source.
You could say that? And it's not just any fungus. They specifically seek out Wilhelmina. Talk about a niche market.
That's incredible. What about gray squirrels? What's their winter survival strategy?
They mainly depend on those stashes of deciduous seeds and fruit they gathered in the fall. They also show some adaptability by foraging for yew berries when acorns are scarce.
So each species has developed its own unique set of skills for navigating those challenging winter months.
Exactly. Their ability to adapt is what makes them such fascinating creatures. Welcome back to our deep dive into squirrel diets.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. It's amazing how these little creatures can teach us so much about adaptation and survival, right?
Absolutely, and there's a whole science behind these dietary adaptations.
Really, like what kind of things are scientists looking at?
Well, they're trying to understand what drives a squirrel's food choices. Is it just about what's available, or is there more to it?
I'd imagine it's got to be more than just grabbing whatever they can get their paws on.
You're right. Seasonal availability is a huge factor, of course. Squirrels are masters at adjusting their food choices to match what nature provides at different times of the year.
So they're like nature's expert shoppers, always on the lookout for the best deals in the forest supermarket.
Huh. That's a great way to put it. They're constantly evaluating their environment, making decisions based on what will give them the most energy for the least effort. But it's not just about quantity. Their nutritional needs also play a big role.
So you mean just like us, they need a balanced diet?
Exactly. Their nutritional requirements can change throughout the year depending on whether they're breeding, raising young, or preparing for winter. For example, those energy-packed buds, berries, and even bird eggs in the spring, that's all about meeting the demands of reproduction.
Oh, that makes sense. It's like they're instinctively following a meal plan to ensure they can raise healthy offspring.
Precisely. And then as we move into late summer and autumn, the focus shifts to building up fat reserves for winter. That's why you see them going crazy for calorie-dense nuts and seeds.
Makes sense. Got to pack on the pounds before the snow flies. So it's all about preparing for those lean months when fresh food is scarce. But what about other factors like weather? Does that influence their food choices?
Absolutely. Harsh weather conditions can really limit their foraging time. Think about it when it's freezing and everything's covered in snow. Wouldn't you rather stay cozy and rely on your pantry?
I definitely would. So squirrels are basically doing the same thing, conserving energy and relying on those winter reserves. But what happens when there's a surplus of food, like a really good year for acorns or something?
Well, studies have shown that those favorable conditions can actually lead to a baby boom the following spring.
Really? So a good food year can mean more baby squirrels?
Exactly. It all comes down to the delicate balance of nature and how these creatures are so incredibly in tune with their environment.
That's amazing. You know, earlier you mentioned that squirrels are more than just cute backyard visitors. They're actually key players in the ecosystem. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, think back to those scatter hoarding gray squirrels burying nuts everywhere.
Oh, yeah, and forgetting where some of them are.
Exactly. Those forgotten nuts can actually sprout into new trees, contributing to forest regeneration and diversity.
Wow. So their forgetfulness is actually a good thing for the forest. It's like they're accidental gardeners.
Ha! That's a great way to think about it. And it's not just gray squirrels. Other species also contribute to seed dispersal through their foraging and caching behaviors. They have a real impact on the plant communities around them.
So by simply going about their daily business of finding and storing food, they're helping to shape the forest ecosystem.
Precisely. Their dietary habits have ripple effects, influencing everything from plant diversity to the populations of other animals that rely on those plants.
Okay, I'm officially impressed. Now let's talk about those nuts and seeds. What makes them such a good food source for squirrels? Is it more than just the calories?
You know, nuts and seeds are packed with everything a squirrel needs to thrive. Energy-rich fats, proteins, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals. They're like nature's perfect snack packs.
So it's not just about filling their bellies, it's about getting a balanced mix of nutrients.
Exactly. And the high fat content is especially important for building up those winter reserves. Fats are a concentrated source of energy, much more so than carbohydrates or proteins.
So it's like they're literally fueling up for winter. Do they have preferences for certain types of nuts, or do they just eat whatever they can find?
Oh, they're actually quite selective, choosing nuts with specific nutritional profiles. Acorns, for instance, are high in carbs, fats, and minerals like calcium and phosphorus. And hickory nuts. Those are known for their high fat and protein content.
Wow. It sounds like they've got their own internal nutritionists guiding their food choices.
Hmm.
Speaking of those minerals, why are calcium and phosphorus so important for squirrels?
Well, calcium is essential for strong bones and teeth, especially when you're constantly gnawing on hard nuts and seeds. And phosphorus is involved in a whole host of bodily functions, from energy production to DNA synthesis.
So it's really important for their overall health and well-being. But where else do they get these minerals? I mean, it can't all be from nuts and seeds, right?
You're right, they'll also get minerals from things like fungi, tree bark, and even bone or antler fragments they might find.
Bones and antlers. Okay. That's a little unexpected.
It might sound strange, but those are good sources of calcium and other minerals, especially when other food options are limited.
So they're really resourceful when it comes to finding those essential nutrients, even if it means gnawing on something as unusual as a bone.
It's a good thing they're not picky eaters, that's for sure.
Definitely. That's what makes them such incredible survivors. They're constantly adapting, finding ways to meet their needs, no matter the circumstances.
We've talked a lot about the benefits of their diet, but are there any downsides? Any risks associated with what they eat? That's a great question. One potential issue is the presence of anti-nutrients in some of their food. These are compounds that can interfere with the absorption of certain nutrients.
Oh, so even if they're eating nutritious foods, their bodies might not be getting the full benefit.
Exactly. Take acorns, for example. They contain tannins, which can bind to proteins and minerals, making them less available for the squirrel to absorb.
So how do they deal with that? Do they just eat acorns anyway and hope for the best?
Not at all. Squirrels have developed some pretty clever strategies to minimize the effects of these anti-nutrients. For example, they often choose acorns that have been leached by rainwater, which helps to reduce the tannin content.
So they're picky eaters, selecting the acorns that have been naturally processed to be easier to digest.
Exactly. They've even been known to bury acorns in damp soil, further reducing the tannin levels over time. It's like they're fermenting their food.
That's fascinating. It's like they've got their own little acorn processing plants going on out there in the forest.
It's just another reminder of how much we can learn from observing nature and how even seemingly simple creatures have developed complex ways of interacting with their environment.
Speaking of interacting, what happens when squirrels encounter human environments? Do they stick to their wild diets, or do they start snacking on what we eat?
Well, they're known for their adaptability, and that includes their diets. They're opportunistic eaters, so if they find readily available food sources in our backyards and gardens, they're likely to take advantage of it.
So what kind of human foods are we talking about? Are they raiding our pantries and stealing our snacks?
Maybe not stealing from our pantries, but they definitely enjoy things like birdseed, pet food, fruits and vegetables from our gardens, even scraps of food we might leave behind. They've even been known to get into garbage cans and compost bins.
So they're basically little four-legged foodies exploring the culinary delights of our backyards. But is it okay to feed them? I mean,
Hmm.
it seems harmless to offer them a few treats now and then.
While it might seem harmless, it's actually best to avoid feeding squirrels.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Well, it can make them more reliant on humans for food, which can disrupt their natural foraging behaviors. They might become less skilled at finding their own food in the wild.
So we don't want to create a generation of spoiled squirrels who are too lazy to fend for themselves.
Exactly. It's also important to consider that some human foods, while tasty to squirrels, aren't actually good for them. Processed foods high in sugar, salt, and unhealthy fats can be detrimental to their health in the long run.
That makes sense. We want to admire them from a distance and let them thrive in their natural environment, not create unhealthy dependencies.
Absolutely. It's all about respecting their role in the ecosystem and allowing them to continue their amazing adaptations without unnecessary interference.
This has been an incredibly eye-opening conversation. We've covered so much ground today, from the seasonal variations in their diet to the science behind their nutritional needs and the ecological impact of their foraging behaviors. It's clear that there's so much more to squirrels than meets the eye.
It's a testament to the power of evolution and the incredible ways in which life on Earth adapts and thrives even in the face of constant challenges.
And speaking of adaptations, I can't wait to hear what you have in store for us in part 3. You mentioned some fascinating case studies of squirrels in different environments and the latest research on their cognitive abilities.
Get ready for some incredible stories of survival and intelligence. We'll be exploring how squirrels have adapted to thrive in some of the most challenging environments on Earth and how their cognitive skills play a key role in their success.
It sounds like we're in for a treat. I can't wait to learn more. All right, so let's talk about those amazing squirrel adaptations for survival, especially the ones in tough environments. You mentioned some case studies. What are some examples of squirrels adapting their diets to thrive in different habitats?
Well, let's look at a fascinating example from the UK. We have two main squirrel species there, red squirrels and gray squirrels.
Oh, yeah, we touched on them a little bit before, that they live in different types of forests.
Yeah, exactly. Red squirrels prefer coniferous forests filled with pine and spruce trees, and they're experts at getting the seeds out of those cones.
And gray squirrels.
Gray squirrels are found in deciduous woodlands with oaks, beeches, and hazels, so their diets are shaped by what's available in their respective habitats.
So can you paint a picture for me? What's it like for a red squirrel in a coniferous forest?
Imagine a dense coniferous forest. Okay? The air is filled with the scent of pine needles, and you see a red squirrel darting up
It sounds like a year-round picnic for them.
Yeah, it does sound pretty idyllic. But there's a catch. When gray squirrels are introduced to areas where red squirrels live, they often outcompete them for food.
Oh, no.
Hmm.
Why is that? Are gray squirrels just bigger bullies at the buffet?
Well, it's partly size and aggression, but gray squirrels can also digest acorns more efficiently.
Ah, so they have a biological advantage.
They do. And this gives them a real advantage. It's sadly one of the reasons why red squirrel populations have declined in many parts of the UK.
So what seems like a simple difference in diet can have a huge impact on the whole ecosystem.
Exactly. It's a classic example of how interconnected these species are. Even subtle changes can have ripple effects. All right, let's move across the pond now. What other case studies showcase the adaptability of squirrel diets?
Yeah, I'm curious to hear more.
Okay, let's hop over to North America and meet the fox squirrels. These guys are big and adaptable, found in forests, woodlands, and even urban parks.
Oh, I've seen fox squirrels. They're beautiful.
Mm.
What's special about their diet?
Well, they're masters of flexibility. In forests, it's mainly nuts, seeds, and fruits. But in urban areas, they've been seen incorporating human-provided food, birdseed, pet food, even scraps.
So they're not afraid to take advantage of what we leave behind.
Not at all. They're opportunistic and adaptable, which helps them thrive in a wide range of habitats.
That's a great takeaway, actually. Being flexible can be a real strength, especially as the world around us changes.
I completely agree. Now let's dive into that fascinating research on squirrel intelligence and food choices.
I'm ready for it. What have scientists been discovering?
Well, they've been looking at how squirrel memory, spatial awareness, and problem-solving skills relate to finding and storing food. Remember, they hide those nuts and seeds for later?
Oh, yeah, and they remember where they buried them. That's got to take some serious brain power.
You're telling me studies show they can remember the locations of hundreds, even thousands of buried nuts and seeds months later.
Wow. It's like having a mental map of their entire territory with every nut marked.
It's pretty impressive. But it's not just memory. They show real planning and decision-making abilities when it comes to hoarding. Some even engage in deceptive caching.
Deceptive caching, what's that all about?
They'll pretend to bury a nut in one spot but actually hide it somewhere else.
Really? That's so sneaky. Why would they go through all that trouble?
It's likely a strategy to deter thieves. By creating a fake cache, they protect their real stash from other squirrels or birds.
Wow, so they're playing mind games to safeguard their winter supplies.
Exactly. It shows a level of cognitive complexity we don't always expect from these creatures. They're not just driven by instinct, they're thinking ahead, making strategic decisions. This all really challenges our ideas of what it means to be smart.
It does. Intelligence comes in many forms, and for squirrels, it's all about those amazing adaptations for survival, especially when it comes to food.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored how squirrels adapt their diets, the importance of those choices for their survival and the ecosystem, and even their surprising intelligence. It's clear that there's so much more to squirrels than meets the eye.
It's a testament to the power of evolution and the incredible ways in which life on Earth adapts and thrives, even in the face of constant challenges. I hope our listeners walk away with a new appreciation for squirrels.
Me too. They're far more complex and fascinating than we often give them credit for.
Oh.
It's funny. Every time I see a squirrel darting around now, I'll be thinking about their hidden world, their clever strategies, and their vital role in nature.
That's what we were hoping for. We wanted to shed light on these amazing creatures.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of squirrel diets. We hope you've learned something new and maybe even gained a newfound respect for these adaptable and clever creatures.
And who knows, maybe you'll even start noticing those fascinating dietary adaptations in your own backyard.